This thing is slammed like it's in LA, man. Rise. I need it to be taller. So we've got some major computer action going on in here. Got some softwares. Trying to get this thing to work. Well, the compressor is running. This is the compressor in this sealed capsule here by the batteries. They just stopped. And it sits under the floor on a big cushion. So it just filled and released. So it's the reserve tank is full.
14.3 bar.
14 bar.
14.2 bar.
Has it moved? Nope.
Right now, I'm just filling the tank.
Well, it stopped running.
Yeah, it should. I just have to blow off valve. 14.1.
This is like watching paint dry.
Exactly.
So yeah, we for those of you who are just didn't watch the last video, we changed out the shocks. Oh my gosh, is it moving?
Yeah, it's going up.
Let's see. Let's see. It should really be going up. Let's see. Let's see what's happening.
It's time to listen to see if it's going to lose anything.
It should be way higher than that. Like way higher. Like El Mucho taller. Let's see what's happening on this. Oh, you know what? This side is way higher than that side. Like that one, that side's kind of normal. The back is like Bigfoot monster truck way up in the, it's like the right side is higher than the left side. That one looks pretty normal.
All right, I'm going to shut it off. We're going to listen for leaks.
Okay.
We still got leaks? I bet this is coming out of the top.
Do you hear it?
Oh yeah, there's air coming out.
This, with that fitting,
Yep.
that threads into that.
See, what we did was we
I think we're losing air out of here, for
bought
sure.
this one just like it was.
Just do here.
That side of the hose
It's leaking.
didn't change.
Something's leaking. So we had first a software problem. Now we have a hardware problem. We got the pump to come on and build pressure, but now the connections to the shocks are not connecting, and well, we have air leaks.
You trying to put it back on there?
Refurbished shocks. They were cheaper. So, got this situation here with these connections and the way the hose locks on. And these don't hold that much air, really. They don't have a large capacity, and so a little bit of air leak is causing a major problem. So trying to figure it out. We're checking the other car. Put the 24s back on, and because I sent the other original wheels off to the powder coaters, so some people like these wheels. You know, I don't hate them. They're not terrible. I guess they're not too, you know, too crazy big. They're low profile. They actually ride okay. I gotta say they ride all right. So this is the other car. I dig the two-tone. I don't know about you guys. Let's go back in and see what they're doing. This is the bed control arm. It's easier just to replace the whole thing than it is to try to press these out. I don't know. That's my opinion. Is it rising?
Kind of stop. Look up through this. It's still filling. it can only dump so much air from the compressor at once. But the lift light's on, so it's going.
Yeah, they gotta fill.
Okay.
We have some lift and some calculations, and oh, now it's dropping.
I did that.
I meant to do that.
Depending on what.
So you punch it in calculations. This is lift mode you're going into now? Let's see. You don't have to hold it, you just press
No, I
it.
just touched it.
Oh. You press it and it should light up orange. It should happen pretty quickly. The lifting. The lifting of the rolls.
Well, it's settling back out to all the values I set.
Oh, okay. So we had to like measure from the bottom of the rim.
Should be going up now?
To, yeah, it is. It only goes up like an inch and a half or
Yeah, I
something.
mean, I can slightly see.
Yeah. And but it should do it really quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, essentially what I did was set the values of nothing in the car,
Yeah.
lowered it until it determines its level,
Yeah.
and then it kind of normalized everything and then flipped it from there. So,
Nice. 2 rolls. Pair of rolls. Yeah. So yeah, dude, there it is. Fixed. The other one. Why is like a big, tall guy in this Mini? Like,
that's not mine, it's his.
oh, I'm like, what's up with that? Like fat guys drive little cars.
He fucking lives an hour away from his work, so gas mileage.
Yeah,
over
yeah, yeah.
everything.
I mean, I would, you know, I like big cars. It's sitting right, you know.
I mean, it's dead even if you come back here.
I'm digging the black wheels too on this car. Yeah, I mean that's where it's split. That's where it's supposed to sit. Those are
Dead center.
factory black badge 21-inch wheels. Those are not factory wheels. Those are some kind of aftermarket wheels. But that's where it should sit. Looks totally legit. Like Goon Squad. Legit.
Legit.
Say hi to Hoovy.
What's up, Hoovy? Hey, Tyler.
Says Hoovy's your favorite YouTuber.
That
He's
is
one of my
correct.
favorites too. I love me the
correct.
Hooves, and I love me the car wizard. He's my wizard. I wish I had you're my car wizard.
Try to be.
Yeah, you're my car.
On-site car wizard.
Yeah, not a wizard. We're gonna have to. We've already got a car wizard. We're gonna need some other sort of magical source
I don't.
for you. Sort of a warlock. You're my car warlock.
All right, that works.
The auto warlock.
That works.
We're gonna create a whole. You're gonna have a whole YouTube channel when it's over. But anyway, there it is.
I'm this guy.
This guy. So yeah. Well, there it is. So what was the problem? It was computer related.
Yeah, so looks like whenever y'all pulled the fuse, the EDC, which is the electronic dampening control, dropped all memory, potentially lost voltage, which is kind of like the footwell modules. And
Well, it's just like this rear glass because I changed the module in it and it forgot where up and down is, and it was like had to learn.
right, so I had to completely reshoot firmware to the EDC. It was dead, it wasn't responding, so I used IMPA Plus, and Insta Plus, Insta D, and Insta P, all three. Reloaded firmware to the EDC. Still, of course, after we got it back up, got it to wake up, the shocks were leaking still.
Yeah, because we had to change out the physical fittings.
And then
Put the old ones back on.
Went through the whole height adjustment, right adjustment, relearn process. Measured everything the way that we should, and should
No
be
one
good
knows
to
what
go.
you're talking about.
Yeah,
We have no
well,
idea what you're talking about. But there's like 30-something modules. Every single thing on this car, every door has a module, every seat has a module, mirror has a module. Like everything in this car has its own interfacing module that can be programmed. Like there's probably a module for that like little door flap for the fuel tank.
Not one for the fuel tank, but there's one for every single pillar airbag, one for every single door, one for every single seat. The one module controls all windows.
Well, I guess because it's memory related.
That is, yes.
Because when you set the memory, You know, you can have 2 users, and every single seat position, mirror position, and everything in the car can be set to memory for that user and key.
Right. So everything. I mean, fuel pump has its own module called an EKP that maintains voltage. It's not a traditional just 12 volts getting applied as the car needs it. That determines whether or not it can give it or not. I mean, there's a module for everything.
BMW's contribution
That is
to
correct.
the Rolls-Royce.
That is correct.
Ow. Just leave that laptop in there. I'll keep that, thanks. Appreciate it.
It's going to cost you a lot more than what I'm charging if you want to keep that.
Can you just sell me one of those?
Expensive.
Yeah, I'll just leave it plugged in.
I mean, I can always do remote.
I just need I'll just hit escape or whatever it is to reset modules as I'm driving down the road as it chimes whatever the latest ding is on the dash. It's like, sing me the song of your people. Bling.
I coded mine out on my car.
Bling. I need this thing riced. This door, we're playing with this module, and this is like an example of one of the modules. Here's an example. Careful, don't hit your. So they glue this, they seal this door in. You don't see this on regular cars. Did you hurt yourself?
Yeah, his dumbass leaves my tow hitch in his car all the time, and I forget that it's
tow hitch.
Yeah, the fucking screw-in tow hitch.
I pulled a Honda Civic with that.
What?
Yeah, we did. We yanked a Civic around for motor swap. Yeah.
You okay?
Oh, I'm fine.
All right.
I'm not gonna
You need a
die.
Band-Aid? Anyway, that's what we're doing. So yeah, they seal this in. This is all glued in, and for sound deadening. And you have an electronic module here that releases this. This connects to the open and close pushy button. Then these run to the lighting that go up into the door panels, because you have like a strip of light that runs in here. Then this is the door handle. And then there's a rod that comes up here for the physical locking it, which is worthless because you can't. I mean, I guess you can push this down.
It's actually vacuum actuated, so you can't.
No, it's not vacuum. It's a electronic. There's no vacuum in here.
Well, can you push that one down?
Yeah, I'm sure you can push it down. That's what I mean. You can push it down.
No.
But you can't get it back up.
BMW different.
And what's really dumb is, well, I think what you could do is you pull the handle. There you go. That's how you open it. But there's only one unlock button in the car, and it's right there.
Central locking.
Yeah. So, this is the piece of wood. It's pretty nice. I mean, this veneer. Ow. You figure all this stuff's made by hand. I like how the guy signed it and stuff. It's, pretty well built. But anyway. So the issue here is this module. Shut up! I'm recording! The problem is every time I take off, this thing is locking. And it shouldn't do that.
Right.
There's not an auto lock feature on this car. Like in many cars that goes 15 miles an hour, car locks. Doesn't do it. The chauffeur has to manually lock the car. By the way, if the child lock is on, you cannot get out. So you're trapped for dead. So something is telling this thing to lock and then sending a signal to the dash that there's an electrical fault. Whatever could it be?
It could be a lot. Anywhere in the CAN bus. Any kind of CAN bus communication fault, sending signal to the wrong place, could cause that to happen, and that's a whole nother
fee.
Well, time. It's going to be time consuming. It's tracing CAN bus back. So
first time I went and looked at a Rolls-Royce, I went and it was in a warehouse. And I got in the back of the car and the child lock was on, and I closed the door and I'm sitting in there, and then I tried to open the door and the door wouldn't open. And then all the lights went out in the warehouse. Well, they forgot I was there and they left. And I didn't know at the time. I could have crawled over the seats and pressed the central button to get out. I'm back there sweating my ass off. I'm calling the guy and he's not answering. I keep getting his voicemail. 30 minutes I was stuck in the back of the car in this guy's locked warehouse. Finally, he answers the phone and I go, dude, I am in the back of this Rolls-Royce Phantom in your warehouse. He's like, what are you talking about? And I go, remember you were letting me look at the car and I got in the back of the car and then you left.
Right.
Point is, you can absolutely die in the back of this thing. It's a vault. I couldn't roll down the window. I didn't have it without the key.
Right.
And actually, I think the lock won't work maybe without the key. Maybe it does.
It depends on if it was remotely unlocked or...
All I know is that I couldn't get out of the car. It's very dangerous. But if I was going to die, I'd rather die in the back of a Rolls-Royce.
Not a bad way to go.
Actually, I can think of a better way. I'll explain to you off camera. There's like 30-something modules.
Yeah, so this is the CAN bus layout of the vehicle, right? So if it's blue or red, it's multi-stream. Gold can have up to 10 concurrent connections. Black is single. So SGM, ZGM is coming from the primary...
I see a red one.
Yeah, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
So these are your door modules here, right? So just because stuff is green after the line, down the line, does not mean that these are okay or that this is what's causing the break. Essentially, anything coming from here down this line past the CAS module, which is your keys. So anything coming after the CAS, which is under the dash down here, is all on the same connection line. So your driver door front, passenger door front, driver door rear, driver door passenger door rear are the two that are throwing faults. So the red means ECU not responding. Yellow means there's small faults. These aren't IHKA as climate control.
You said there was like 30 faults that you found.
There was, yeah. So
what were they though?
I can actually show you.
Can we add solitaire maybe to the dash?
You have nav already? Give me nav.
Put in some games.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
Essentially,
Pac-Man.
These are our current faults. IHK, these are not a big deal. These are vent flaps for the rear. It's just saying that they don't adjust at the speed that they should.
What vent flaps?
For the rear AC.
Oh.
So IHKA is the climate control module. It's just saying that the vent flap in the middle,
My
indirect,
vent flap is slow.
Well,
that happens with age. We'll see.
But, that happens. This is the CAS code that was showing where it was yellow. Coach door locking.
That's
activation.
insane that this thing knows, like, oh, the flap for the rear air conditioning vent is slow. Right?
Yep.
Is that necessary?
These are the two big faults we're worried about.
Uh-oh.
Where they came from, when they occurred. I actually can't technically even pull them all the way because I can't get a response back from... So it's telling me to check the bus signal, and I'll have to do an exploded view of the wiring
the
diagram.
bus is fine.
Right.
It's fine. But so I don't know what you're talking about.
So I'm going to have to do a breakdown on the diagram and figure out exactly where this is that it's saying that it's losing connectivity. So these are our two big issues here. S0200 and S0202.
I know I was getting some weird things, like it was telling me the hood was open when it wasn't, telling me that door over there was open when it wasn't.
Right, so that's the downside about CAN bus, and the positive is that it requires a lot less wiring throughout the car because stuff can be concurrent.
But it's serialized.
It's like a telephone pole, right?
Yeah.
You can have just one line coming to yours and it carries it all the way down, but if you get a break right here, well, all those people down there are screwed. They're not getting electricity, right? Kind of the same idea.
We probably need to pull apart every connection, spray it with like cleaner, and then plug it back in.
Right. So what I'll probably do is I've screenshotted this where the connection's at. I'll pull the exploded view because, as you can guess, it's time consuming.
Well, other than the the only problems I'm really having that's an issue is that obviously we have these airbag faults.
Sure.
And I keep resetting them, and they keep coming back.
Yep. They're going to stay there.
And what's up with those?
It's coming from the door. So the door has
it's the same door problem?
Right. So the door bags.
Yeah, because these are airbags.
Correct.
Here inside the door.
So when it's not seeing that body control module, it can't communicate. Of course, the airbag has its own airbag module as well.
So it's probably related.
So when it's losing its connection to that door module is firing up to the airbag. It connects into the airbag.
Also, the car was titled as a salvage. Now, there's a way to, I think, convert rebuilt title to clear title.
Yes, it has to be recertified by the...
Because there's really nothing wrong with the car.
Right.
The car was mislabeled.
Essentially, you would have to take it to Rolls. They measure, frames and whatnot, and then they recertify that it's within spec.
Yeah, because there was absolutely no damage to the car.
There's no structural damage. I don't foresee an issue.
No.
Right. But yes, you can have it. It's a recertified In Texas, I believe we call them.
So Rolls would have to do it for me?
Rolls does that. So they have to put it on a machine and inspect it. They inspect, control arms, body point to make sure it has to be within Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Ferrari. Has to be within 0.1 inches of factory spec.
There's literally not a scratch on this car.
So I don't foresee an issue doing that.
This is what the guy told me. The guy that told me that he said the junkyard, when they had the car, it was sitting flat on the ground because the airbags were flat, because we know they were bad. And they didn't know how to start the car. They didn't know you had to put the key in the hole. So they were holding the key in their hand and pressing start. So they reported that it had undercarriage damage and didn't run. So they just sent that information to the insurance company, and they totaled the car because it was missing a $2,500 hood ornament, $2,000 worth of floor mats, $2,000 worth of umbrellas. So they concluded that it had undercarriage damage. So they go, oh, it's got like $50,000 worth of damage. So you got to remember, when my other car got a dent in the door, they gave me a $45,000 damage report.
Right.
So they salvaged the car, paid the dude out. The guy bought it at auction. He said he put the key in, started it, it aired up, he drove it out. It was fine. I drove the car from Sacramento to Dallas, 2,500 miles. The car was flawless. The only problem is the chimey thing happening. Hey, can you turn the ding off? Can you make it not make noise?
I can't.
And all that cool shit on the computer, you cannot turn off the ding.
I will tell you why. It actually goes through the car stereo.
Oh, yeah, it does.
So it's physically wired into the car stereo.
Ooh, you know, my other car doesn't make a chime. And also the car stereo's messed up.
Yeah, so that's probably in the fiber somewhere. My personal car, I chose to left those wires disconnected.
Yeah, but how do you have a radio?
Oh, just those wires that go directly to that chime are disconnected.
I see.
My radio still works.
Yeah.
It's loud.
Feel free to disconnect the chime on this car.
We could.
I'll go get some wire cutters right now.
We got to pull, and everything's got to be pulled.
So far, my plan has been just to play heavy metal loud enough that I can't hear the chime because it's volume controlled, apparently. And you don't hear any of the problems with the car if AC/DC is loud enough.
That's correct.
That's how you do it. So we have this field across the street, and this dude over here, instead of cutting the grass, he lets out all his goats. They're so cute. What's going on? Dude doesn't speak a lick of English. I was trying to ask him, I go, are your goats friendly or will they bite me? They're like, no, it's fine, it's cool. Keeps the grass cut for free. I don't need a lawnmower, I need 30 goats. They look pretty tasty right about now. I'm thinking gyro right now. Those goats make me hungry.
You gotta cook them in the ground if you do that.
All right, so the car so far is fixed. I'm gonna drive it and see how it is. But I took it around the block and it was tight, and it's holding air. It's doing great. I like to say something to all the chowderheads that comment, it's just a BMW. It does share BMW electronics, computers, and modules and things. BMW is the parent company of Rolls-Royce. They're the people who gave them the money to continue staying in business, because even at $500,000, they were losing money because these cars are just so complex. Now, I don't want to disclose exactly what I paid the dude. It's a lot of money. Because there's not too many people who not only have that computer and that software, but have the ability to use it and to be able to do what he just did. If I would have had this car towed, think about this. If I lived out somewhere where there was no Rolls-Royce dealership, you'd have to ship your car to a Rolls-Royce dealership and have them fix it. It would be weeks, months to get it fixed, and it would cost you thousands of dollars. And that is really the difference between a real Rolls-Royce and the BMW 7 Series, let's say. If you had a 2006 BMW 7 Series, doing what we just did would have totaled the car. Because nobody would spend the money that we just spent on a BMW 7 Series that's worth $3 or $4 grand. We spent more than that on fixing it. And now I have a Rolls-Royce that has brand new brake rotors, Brembo pads, brand new air springs, okay? Brand new control arms, sway bar links, bushings. It's tight as a drum, drives like a brand new car. We got to fix these other couple of modules, which are not affecting the physical operation of the car, but they're just sending up a chime because the car is enumerating and finding a fault with the door module and airbag. It doesn't really affect the way the car, you could drive it like that forever. The guy that had it before me did, but I'm going to fix it, make it right, get all the dash lights off and make sure it's perfect. But this car is still worth the cost of your average lower middle income house, whereas a comparable 2006 BMW 7 Series wouldn't be worth these used shocks. I apologize for you BMW owners, but that's the difference. You know, the difference between the cars is the quality, their value that they hold, and their performance. Because even a brand new, if you took a 2006 760 Li and did a full refurbishment on it, it still wouldn't be as good as a comparable Rolls-Royce. It's just not the same thing, you know, like Benihana might own Panda Express. They're not the same restaurant. You know, Rolex has a smaller company called Tudor, and they're nice watches, but they're not Rolexes. The difference is you got to be, no one who's ever been in or driven a Rolls-Royce Phantom and also owned and driven a BMW would say they're the same car. They are not even close, okay? They share a parent company and they share some parts simply because it makes sense, right? But the reason this channel exists is because these cars are going to be coming up on the market, right? There's going to be a lot of these cars hitting the market, and you're going to be able to pick them up for like, you know, 60, 70, 80,000 bucks. And they're all going to need the stuff that we just did. All of them. And there is zero information out there on the internet about these cars. So if you're interested in the Rolls-Royce Phantom, and you think maybe one day you're going to own one, or maybe you do own one, other than your Rolls-Royce dealer, all of the information that we're giving you right now is super secret. They don't even they won't even tell you what kind of oil filter to use, or oil, or anything of that nature. They don't want you working on this car, right? And that software that guy's got, your average cat doesn't have that. But more importantly, know how to use it. He said, you know, if you didn't know what you were doing, you could toast this car. You could brick this thing. So I trust him. And I paid him a lot. But the car's not sitting flat on the ground anymore. I'm going to drive it home, and it's going to be fantastic. And that's all that matters. And sometimes, if you're not willing to play that game, then this isn't for you. Just keep working. Listen, I used to work at Jack in the Box. I used to make hamburgers. I used to work at a gas station. I used to sell stuff door to door. Eventually, right? Eventually, you can get there. So the trolls that are down in my comments that just want to pee on everybody else, ignore those people. Those aren't the people you want in your life. Avoid them. Delete them from your life, even if they're family members. Get away from them. Find positivity in all things. Surround yourself with people that encourage you, support you, and more importantly, people that are doing well themselves, right? You need to be around that kind of positivity and success, and you'll find that it'll rub off on you. You too can have the car. Maybe the Rolls-Royce isn't your dream car, whatever it is. You'll get it. I believe in you. You can do it. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I'll see you on the next one. The Rolls-Royce is fixed. That's all I have. Yay!
Subscribe to Videobob because I know where you live, bitch.